Well, Smart Design was founded right around 1980 by a group of people who were coming out of design school, college together. We started the office with the idea that design should focus on people, not things. Sounds obvious today, but late 1970s or early 1980s, that was a bit of a radical concept. By doing that, we also felt that design should be for everyone, which is the basic idea behind universal design. So we have offices here in New York City, which is where we are now, San Francisco and Barcelona.
As you look around the studio today, you're going to see a few of the products that we've designed on this principle of really designing things for people. It can be something from a simple product like a toothbrush up to something like designing a application for a mobile phone. I mean, one of the things that means in practice is rather than sitting here in our studio designing things for ourselves, we get outside the office and we watch people really in their everyday lives and the kind of challenges that they have on an everyday basis with simple things like brushing their teeth and going to the bathroom, which is what we're talking about today.
The roots of universal design go back to the Architectural Barriers Act, which was a mandate that all federal buildings should be accessible by people with disabilities. Now, that train of thought eventually grew into the concept of universal design, design for everyone. But it really has its roots in architecture, things like ramps, and very much things like accessible bathrooms.
But I think there's this whole other dimension of emotional needs, which is not addressed within that act, but I think is something really important when we think about an issue such as hygiene. A good scale to think about things is maybe the scale of disgust. So maybe designing for the extremes here is the person who's least able to be disgusted and the person who's most.
It smells like pee in there, no?
You don't know who's been in there, who's dribbled there.
With the public bathrooms, they're not clean regularly.
It just smells like dirty fish and it's gross.
Public, that means like everyone else has been there, like sitting on that, in that whatever.
I would never use a public bathroom, no matter what.
Everyone seems to have a strategy of how to survive in the city, especially New York City, which seems to have a lack of public restrooms.
While we are doing our route, we have to make stops, of course. On my route, I have a school on my route, is a daycare, and that's my favorite spot.
I have stores.
I mean, for guys, we don't even use them. We just, when we need to do our business, we just go in the street.
But we've made use of some of the bigger hotels.
Looking like we belong.
But really, looking like we belong.
People seem to know the neighborhoods where there are bathrooms, places like Starbucks.
And Starbucks is usually pretty good too.
There's a Starbucks in every corner, practically.
I'd have to say Starbucks is my choice.
Well, because it's convenient and they never ask you for anything.
So it's kind of interesting that there's this network of like public bathrooms and sort of private business bathrooms, which are all kind of grouping together to form this kind of network of solutions for everybody in the city. When people enter a bathroom, they tend to, rather than using their hands to open the door, they tend to use their elbows and their feet to push doors open and kind of use things. One example, we have someone here in our office whose kid was brought up in New York, and he thought the right way to flush a toilet was with your foot. Works pretty well.
And that works well whether you're right-footed or left-footed.
I didn't want to touch anything, but it's easier for guys.
I think that my ideal experience really would be to sort of float into the public bathroom, use it while floating, and float out without touching a thing.
I went to a public bathroom this weekend and it had one of those sensors on the back of the toilet that would flush automatically, which you would think is a good idea because then you don't have to touch anything, you don't have to flush by touching a lever. But the thing must have flushed about 5 times.
I think it's quite ironic that you spend all this time washing your hands, sterilizing your hands, and then you touch the doorknob.
So you would walk in, the thing would flush. You'd sit down and the thing would flush. You'd get up, it would flush.
You're only using the bottom of your foot to operate every single thing.
So a bathroom, including an exit door, it would have some sort of foot pedal so you could leave.
That would be even better, to have a little pool at the end to wipe your feet.
You'd put your jacket on, it would flush again.
I think they should invent some kind of like spring-loaded toilet seat, so like it goes down when you have to like sit down, and then it lifts up automatically.
To have some ability to kind of have sound sort of masking kind of what's going on in there. You know, if you're sort of a noisy person in there and you, I don't know, is this getting too kind of personal?
You'd leave, the thing would flush, wasting goodness knows how many gallons of water.
So to reinvent the bathroom situation in New York City requires that we think about the entire system, not just the toilet or the stall or the door or the sink, but really the entire situation. Signage or information, for instance.
Really the big opportunity in New York City to reinvent the public restroom experience is to make information more accessible so that people, rather than having personal strategies, they can have the city and organizations help them develop strategies which make sense.
Whatever message you get by those signs in the restaurants that say restrooms are for customers only, exclamation point, exclamation point, let's do the opposite, whatever that may be.
There should be restrooms off everyone.
Right.
Universal design.
Come on in.
Yeah, come on in.
Now that it's over, I feel much better. I'm fine.